Today, we'll be interviewing Zara Rahman, works on research and engagement at the Engine Room, a nonprofit organization focused on supporting civil society to use technology and data more effectively. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you've been working in an international field in digitalization and human rights. What's the significance of combining these two areas?
I think technology and data offer so many things that can help the field of human rights in terms of offering up so much more data that we can use to notice human rights violations, to using digital data to kind of digital data to help people notice what's going on, to store more information, to connect people from different areas of the world who are working on similar topics when before they wouldn't have had an opportunity to kind of know the other one and that kind of thing. It just offers us a lot more speed and scale, essentially, than what we had before.
And then why is it so important for you to fight for human rights and in particular women's rights?
It's a good question. I guess I always just, it's important for me to have a job that I feel very motivated by. I can't imagine the idea of going to a job that I don't think is making any even vague difference in the world. And the field of human rights and women's rights particularly is, one where every day I know that, I really enjoy my job. I know that it's kind of hopefully making a difference. I get to work with amazing people. And working for that bigger goal is very, very motivating for me.
And then the Youth Citizen Entrepreneurship Competition is designed for youth looking to change the world. What's the most pressing challenge to you, and why might online tools be able to help face this challenge?
It's a really good question. I think one of the biggest challenges for me is that it's kind of the flip side of being able to know what's going on in the world today. Like, we can see there's like an upcoming, a genocide in Myanmar and war that's not been in Syria for 7 years and famine in Yemen and all sorts of places where there are terrible things happening. So one of the challenges that I see is actually being able to focus. So the challenge for me is really keeping people's attention on the things that matter. And this is something that I think we've seen over the last year or so as well, around trust and credibility of who says what online. I think online tools offer a lot of potential benefits, but then in the same way, they offer kind of the same things to people who want to do the opposite of what we're trying to do. So people can, anyone can produce content and write, a news story about something that matters to them, but people can also write stories that aren't real, or they can put videos up that discredit people or things like that. So it's really an attention thing, which which affects how we address bigger challenges like climate change or like wars and bigger issues like that.
And then this generation is facing different challenges than past generations, both in terms of climate change, but also the technologies available to us. What are some opportunities that also come from these challenges?
I think opportunities, if we're talking on a kind of global level, there are lots of new emerging technologies and different ways that technologies that, for example, in Europe that we use in certain ways that are being used in different ways in other countries. So I think the ability to kind of think of those things in different ways and maybe make use of them in ways that make sense to different contexts and different cultures is a really big opportunity. I think also, for people who are growing up with the internet at the same time, you just have such a different kind of way of looking at technology and thinking about it. So that will be really interesting to see when kind of younger generations get to a point where they're working full time and that kind of thing, what kind of ideas they come up with. I think that's about it.
And then what would you say is the best way to encourage the youth to be socially engaged?
I think connecting issues that affect youth, like things that they care about, and making it clear why that matters, and making it really clear that they have a voice. I mean, as we're seeing in the US right now, for example, the youth are leading the way, which is incredibly inspiring, but also really sad that it's come to this, that adults are having to listen to kind of younger people telling them things that should just be common sense. So yeah, I think just making it clear that they have a voice, that there are issues that matter to them that should matter to more people, and making it easy for them to kind of engage in respecting what they're saying and not kind of dismissing it as oh, it's just teenagers or it's just young people.
In terms of being very internationally based for work, how
Mm-hmm.
important is networking for you and the work that you do?
Super important. So the organization that I work for, the Engine Room, we're all remote. So I have like 18 colleagues in 10 different countries. So being able to meet up with people in person is incredibly important to kind of having good relationships, both with the people that I work with, but also more broadly. Networking, like being able to build connections, like personal connections with people, and that's often hard to do when it's just digital. Is really important, just to being able to know who to go to for a certain question, or asking for advice, or keeping an eye on what the cool things are that people are doing. So yeah, conferences, networking, communities, that kind of thing is super important to our work.
And then lastly, what advice would you give for young people looking to grow their entrepreneurial goals?
Oh, I would say think of technology as kind of a platform, but not as the end goal. I think we often have the tendency to think of a certain new technology as, the silver bullet that will solve all these social problems. And essentially they remain social and political problems, and technology can help address some of those and offers us kind of new connections, new speed, new scale. So yeah, I think about thinking critically about the role that technology and data can play, but also thinking of it as something that can help your entrepreneurial goals.
Perfect. Those are all the questions we have for you today, but thank you so much for your time, Zara.